Well, folks, back in July, I decided to go out of town for the weekend. I just went over to Asheville, North Carolina, and my plan was just go over there, hang around the town, see some places I hadn't never seen before, try some different craft beers that I've never tried. And I thought, I'll try some cool appetizers and just enjoy my weekend and just get away from all this madness for a while and take a break from it. So I made some YouTube videos. I scheduled them to come out in advance, and I was like, I got the weekend. I'm just going to have a good time. So I go to Asheville. I look around a little bit. And then I decide to go back to my room and I'm going to take a nap before I go out on the town. So I take a nap and I wake up from my nap and I'm going to go back out on the town and check out some more places. And my phone had literally just exploded with notifications saying, "Hey, did you hear? Someone just took some shots at Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania." And I was like, holy crap. And so I ended up going live from my YouTube channel in the hotel room and had one of the biggest audiences I ever talked to. And we just reacted to that in real time. Because at that point, how could you really go on? It was like, holy crap, this is really happening. And we just all sat around and talked about it together. Well, last night, I decided to go out of town. You guys know where this is going. I decided to go up to Lexington, Kentucky to watch one of my favorite bands. They used to be called Mike and the Moon Pies. Now they're known as Silverado. It's like Silverado with an A on the end of it. They're one of my favorite honky-tonk country bands. If you love like old school country music in the vein of like Gary Stewart, Mel Street, and then throw a little bit of Amazing Rhythm Aces in there, I mean, Silverado's your guys, and they're just phenomenal. So I go up there to watch a show, and I say to myself, I'm going to set some videos to come out. That way I won't have to talk about anything, and I'll just enjoy the show. And I stopped to get gas and looked down at my phone, and I had a shit ton of notifications from people letting me know that once again, someone had attempted to take a shot at Trump, except this time they were shot at first, and then later they were detained. Now, the reason that I didn't go live from my channel this time is because A, I really wanted to see Mike and the Moon Pies again. I was really looking forward to that. And B, I knew what the results would be. It's like I already knew this story. I was like, okay, all right. And I just said, I was like, you know what? When we get back from the show, we'll learn that whoever did this was a Trump supporter. We'll learn that they were Republican. We will learn that they were someone who was a conspiracy theorist and bought into all the crazy rhetoric that Donald Trump will not distance himself from. And what happened when I finally got done with the show and today started looking into it to see what happened? Everything I predicted would happen is what happened. That was the story. This guy voted for Trump back in 2016. He became disillusioned with him. And he was a Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy supporter. But he was also someone who bought into a bunch of conspiracy theories and the same kind of rhetoric that the other kid bought into. And so that's why I didn't really go live with you guys that time, because I just knew the results. And because we're getting so tired of his same old rhetoric. We all know that before that event even took place, they probably had somebody over here in the corner going, "Hey, how are we going to grift off the next one? How are we going to sell? What merch are we going to sell the next time this happens?" Because that's all they're about, is about grifting. That's all they're about, is just about trying to dodge any and all accountability. And once again, they do not want to take any responsibility for this. This clip I'm going to show you from Fox News is absolutely ridiculous, because they say the reason this happened is because we keep calling Trump out and we just need to leave him alone. We just need to back off and not say nothing. Yeah, they actually said this out loud in 2024. Take a look.
The rhetoric, and people are at each other's throats. Do you see that as a contributing factor in Butler, which you've already looked at?
Absolutely. The rhetoric is every day, all day. And as it's directed against President Trump, it's saying that he's a threat to democracy, that he's going to destroy America. It's absolutely absurd, and it is irresponsible. And Democrats and people who are speaking in these terms about President Trump need to take responsibility and really think about the consequence of using that kind of language. Right. Because here we are again. And so in the days immediately after Butler, we heard people accept that needed to stop, but it didn't last. And right. That today is a day that needs to be taken seriously.
It lasted about a day and a half.
So I guess we're just supposed to sit back while someone says they will be a dictator on day one. I guess we're just supposed to sit back when someone says they would terminate the Constitution anytime they see fit. I guess we're just supposed to sit back when somebody says that they're going to have mass deportations and it will be bloody and anyone that comes back will be executed on sight. I guess we're just supposed to sit back and let somebody try to overturn an election that they knew they lost. I guess we're supposed to sit back and just let someone take documents that they weren't supposed to have and refused to give them back. I guess we're just supposed to sit back and give this guy a pass for sexually abusing somebody and defaming them later. Really, it's us that needs to dial it back. No, his character and his rhetoric is why this stuff is happening. Because every time you look at it, it's someone that bought into his bullshit. But what does Trump do? Of course, he blames it on Biden and Harris. Who else's fault would it be in Donald Trump's role? It can never be his. So let's go here to this article from Midas Touch. Let me get it brought up here for you. Yeah, Trump blames Harris for the golf course incident. This is written by Ron Filipkowski. It says here, Donald Trump today blamed Joe Biden and Kamala Harris for the incident yesterday on his golf course where a man was spotted in the woods with an AK-47. In his first media interview after the incident, Trump told Fox News Digital this morning, their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at when I'm the one who is going to save the country, and they're the ones that are destroying the country, both from the inside and out. Trump then claimed that Harris's past comments that he is a threat to democracy have encouraged people to try to assassinate him. He then, of course, did exactly what he is accusing Harris of doing by saying she and Biden are the real threats to democracy. They are the opposite. These people want to destroy our country. It's called the enemy from within. They are the real threat. Trump then went on to claim that he could use inflammatory language in his rally speeches and social media posts like Harris, but he chooses to keep it clean. Really? I mean, he really wants to say this to us and expect us to believe this. He said, they use highly inflammatory language. I could use it too, but far better than they can, but I don't. If you believe any of that, he also has some red hot Trump media stock to sell you. Folks, that has got to be one of the most ridiculous claims the guy has ever made. He really expects us to believe that he's the guy that could use the inflammatory language but doesn't. His entire rhetoric, all of it, is inflammatory language. Every Trump rally that we've broke down has been inflammatory language. And I want to also, if I can here real quick, pull up this clip from Elon Musk. Well, not a clip. It's actually what he posted on Twitter, and then he deleted it, and rightfully so. But get a load at what Elon had to say about this. Yeah, this is real, folks. I can't believe I'm actually sharing this. But someone posted why they want to kill Donald Trump, and he posted this, and no one is even trying to assassinate Biden or Kamala. So they'll post stuff like that all day and then tell us we're the ones that needs to turn down the temperature in the room. They'll say we're the ones being inflammatory. I am so tired of being gaslit by people like Elon Musk, who turns over his platform to hate speech and conspiracy theorists and will defend them people every chance he gets. He'll say it's free speech. I can say whatever they want to say. And then he'll get on there and say that kind of stuff that hits directly into their ears. And they're buying into these conspiracy theories on a daily basis. They're believing it. And anytime one of them jumps up and takes a shot and you read their manifesto, guess what they were listening to? Guess what they was buying into? That type of inflammatory rhetoric. And Donald Trump will not call out any of these things. He will not condemn violence himself. I've never heard him do it. He won't condemn January 6th. He calls those people patriots and hostages. He won't condemn the bomb threats that's happened in Springfield, Ohio. He says that the real threat's coming from the border. He won't condemn any crazy thing that Laura Loomer says. He says she's a patriot and a free spirit. So if he won't call it out, then I think it's on him. I don't see how it's on the rest of us, because we have sat here from day one and said we condemn violence. There's no place for it. There is absolutely no place for it. And I do not want to see one hair on Donald Trump's head singed. I don't want to see that man hurt in any way. You know why? Because I want to see him held accountable in the court of law. I want to see him held accountable there. That's how I want to see it. And I want it to be where that when Donald Trump is finally out of the political arena, I want him to fade away for the joke that he truly is. And I want him to be so disgraced that people won't even name their kids Donald anymore. I want it to be like the name Benedict or Judas. That's the fate that I want for him. I don't want anything like that to happen, because if something like that were to happen, they would just turn him into a hero and a martyr, and it would be sickening at the stuff his kids will be out there selling. And Don Jr. says, what am I supposed to tell my kids? Well, I guess just ignore it like you do your dad's affairs. I mean, I guess you've never had a talk with them about what kind of guy Grandpa really is. Have you ever told him how he wants to sleep with their aunt Ivanka? Have you told him that? So, I guess just sweep it under the rug like you do school shootings. Just don't talk about it. Or you could tell them that the guy had every right, because if we had threw up a red flag, or if we'd evaluated him and found out he wasn't, capable of holding the gun or having the gun, owning it, then, he might not have gotten his hands, but I guess just sweep it all under the rug like you do everything else. I guess just say that the guy had a right to do it. Because if we'd have took it away from him, might have took it away from you, right, Donnie Jr.? So folks, we're just tired of this crap. We're so over it and we're so tired of it, and we just want to move past it. And until I hear them come out and strongly condemn hatred and condemn cruelty and condemn violence, I don't want to hear anything they got to say. I really don't. I think that we, as the voice of reason, have to keep standing up for the truth at all times. And I think we do have to condemn violence and always call it out, but it's them that's creating it. So don't sit over here and tell us to stay quiet about it. We're supposed to just let this guy walk back in and be leader of the free world again. I mean, he said all these things. We're just supposed to give it a pass. I've literally sat and thought long and hard about 1930s Germany. And I thought, I wonder what it would have been like back in that era if there had been such a thing as social media. I wonder how the Fuhrer would have used that to his advantage. And I wonder how many people he would have duped with it. And I wonder how many people would have been out there trying to call bullshit, trying to call it out, trying to say, hey, wait a minute, this ain't right. Something's wrong here. Because there were people back then, but they didn't have a platform. They didn't have a way of going about saying it out loud. And so I've literally sat and wondered long and hard about that. What would it have been like back then? And how powerful would he have became if he'd have had social media? He did it without social media, but imagine with it. Well, I think we're kind of seeing that unfold now. And if someone hears that and says, oh, you're turning up the temperature in the room, Brando. No, we're pointing out who Donald Trump truly is, and we're raising awareness as to who he truly is, because the mainstream media 9 out of 10 times refuses to cover stuff like this. They won't say it. They'll sit back and say, but don't you have some sort of responsibility, Pierce Morgan? Don't you have some sort of responsibility to not say anything, to not call this man out? No, we have a responsibility to call him out, and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep calling it for exactly what it is until Harrison Walls goes over that finish line, and then we start picking up the pieces. We're just tired of it, folks. I could be the most heartless bastard you've ever heard right now. I truly could. Because it's just so hard to have sympathy for someone who has been so cruel and so over the top destructive to this country. It's hard to sit back and feel sympathy. I've said before in videos, and some people may think I'm cold-hearted, but I reserve my sympathy for people that truly deserve it and people that didn't bring things on themselves. And I'm of the opinion, and I feel that he brought this on himself. So no sympathy for Brando on this one there, Donnie.